Welcome to a Sorare Thursday Club special with me, Ricky T, and Johnny, aka Dornado, in the house as always. So we all know why we're here. Sorare, they kept us all waiting. Probably needed that long to upload that absolute massive heap of info they've dropped on us. The game has well and truly changed. So we're going to discuss some of the major topics and our views on it. I'm sure a lot more will make sense as clever people dissect it over the coming days and explain it better than we will. But I needed, my brain was so confuddled after that. I needed somewhere to come and let it all out. So how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. I did a printout of the announcement. I've just been reading it. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's turned me to beer this evening, trying to figure that, get my head around all that.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpick for sure. Hadn't realised there was. Well, I skim read the first announcement. Didn't realise there was then a secondary announcement of how it's phasing over. So I didn't read that until about an hour ago. But yeah, a lot to talk about. They said it would be a big announcement, and it sure was.
Yeah, so we won't try and overdo it with injecting our fountain of knowledge into you all because, there's a lot to try and work your heads around. But when it happened, usually there's like an instant sentiment, right? Heavily in one direction on X. But I saw a lot on like either side, and I'm still seeing that this evening. A lot of like positive and a lot of really negative. I think that fans Sorare account that everyone got pissed off with has decided to sell up and leave. So I think quite a lot of people are happy about that. But there's a lot of like negative selling up and a lot of this is really good, which is kind of weird it's usually heavily on one side or the other. I guess there was about 2 novels worth of information to read through. So maybe like it will level out in a certain direction over the next few days. But there's a real divide, I thought, for a change, which I didn't quite expect.
Yeah, I mean, like with every announcement, you just can't keep everyone happy, can you? So some people, I think, if people had just bought someone, say, for a Cap 240 coming up, and, well, it's not really changed for a few months yet, but, like, they're fuming a little bit, aren't they, with how the game's just changed. But if they're going to make changes, they've got to change it at some point, It's going to piss some people off.
Yeah. Well, let's start talking about it. I'm sure, there's a lot to get through and people have had a lot of opinions already today. So they dropped the first one on us. I don't think any of us quite expected it to be quite this thorough, the changes. It is like a complete revamping, isn't it? And the first real main thing that was highlighted was the new circle of life of cards. You're going to have your classic season competitions, so the old cards, and this all includes the current season cards we're using because it's going to start in August. So it's going to start with the 24, 25 cards. I don't know how MLS fits into that. Did they have when their new season cards are released?
I guess they'll be this season cards will technically be 24, 25 season, wouldn't they? Just or 24. Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, we're going to have those, and the old season cards will win you new season cards, and then in the new season competitions, you'll win cash rewards and more. So I guess discounts, loot boxes, experiences, yada yada. They still have podium payouts in Classic, but this is the new circle of life. We're presuming that, especially at the start, these new season cards are going to be really hot and expensive and really like sought after gems. So I guess winning them in Classic, is a valuable commodity to then sell on. So this is the initial breakdown, splitting it in 2, and 4 new season cards needed, isn't it, in limited and rare now. So they've slightly upped the ante in what you need in new season cards. We sort of saw them lead in this direction with the new Prem winter competition and stuff. But what is your initial thoughts on the new card cycle loop?
I mean, I kind of thought it'd be heading that way, to be honest. Like, they need to encourage people to buy new cards. Otherwise, people are just going to buy cards and then sit on them for the rest of their lives, entering the same competitions every single week. They needed to introduce something that was going to permanently introduce a recycling of cards and a repurchase of cards. And it's good for the whole ecosystem of Sorare. It's good for them making, they need to make their own money as well for it to be a successful game for all of us. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I like the fact that you can still use use your old classic cards to win cards. I think I'm struggling to read that, but I think that's saying that you can't win ETH with the old cards apart from podiums. Wasn't that what?
Yeah, just podiums. Yeah, there's not going to be.
Well, that's fair enough, right? I mean, if you've won the podium, you deserve to win some ETH as well. But you're winning new season cards anyway, so unless you sell them, you're naturally going to progress into entering those new season competitions if you're doing well in the classic season competitions, because you're going to win them and think, oh, I'm only one or two new season cards away from entering the new season competition. So it's kind of like helps Sorare in that sense, because it will sort of get you going in the new season stuff, won't it?
Get you going. Yeah.
But no, I think it's cool, and they've clearly thought about it a lot. And I like the little graphic there. It's very like a moon landing or something.
All these, inside caves and disheveled scenery. The big problem they had was they've always gone about own your game. Your cards are yours forever. Blah blah. So there's always going to be a touchy subject whenever you take utility away from those cards, right?
But I would say they're taking utility away. They're just adding utility and not making those cards have utility for that. You still have the same amount of utility. This is like the Premier League winter thing. With the Premier League winter thing, people are kicking off. Like, you can still enter the exact same amount of competitions you could before with your cards that you had. I guess there was a diversion of some of the prizes. Maybe that's what people would kick off about potentially, but you still
no, you couldn't enter one competition with the old cards previously. Now it's in half. You can enter the classic season competitions, but you can't enter the new season competitions at all. So half of the products you now can't enter with your old season cards. You can use one of them, but essentially, we did all know that Sorare need people to start spending money, don't they? We're not being flooded with thousands and thousands of new users, so they need old users to buy new cards. And I guess this is a way. Like, I've been doing it for the tournaments and stuff. I like playing the game. I think it's fun, so I'm willing to spend to play the game because it's an enjoyment.
It's a gamble, isn't it? It's to buy these new season cards. It was a gamble. It paid off for you. You bought these new season cards, and look how much bloody money you made. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of people playing this game forget that the majority of it is a little bit of a gamble, a little bit of a flutter on how you think you'll do that weekend. And they're just putting more. Dangling more carrots in front of you with these other competitions now, aren't they? Thinking, go on, buy some cards for them if you think you can do it. And I certainly know two people that will be buying cards for it, and that's me and you.
Hola. Yeah, I think. I mean, winning the new season card should be fairly lucrative anyway at the start. Yeah, I think I like the whole loop thing, how they've sort of tried to sell it in that way. Yeah, I don't mind it. Is this new structure better and more fun? I think we'll get onto that when you look at the new divisions and stuff in a sec. But yeah, it could be kind of lucrative to earn money by earning these new cards and selling them on if you're just going to focus on classic for the time being, or if you're not sure if the new setup is for you, just using the classic cards to start with to try and win new season cards that you can then just sell on. That might be a way forwards. But yeah, that was an interesting start. If we move on, more cash rewards, here's how the formats work, blah, blah, blah. I won't go into it too much. You need more new season cards for everything, yada, yada, yada. Let's move on to the competition structure. Let's stick to the meaty bits. So this is starting in August. This is another massive thing. Obviously, regions are being smoked. They go. It's a
little bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah. Asia, America, they go. We are three, essentially, aren't we? Champions, challengers, and contenders. 3 different levels. They say that they wanted to put, the best teams together, the best players rewards, the best players and the best teams rewards the best rewards. This is how they panned out. What I wanted to ask you, any changes that you would have made in this layout? Obviously, the Champions has the 5, Premier Leagues in it. And obviously, they've got 3 full licenses for that. And then they are a French company. And Serie A is obviously the other big power. Challengers was the one that initially stuck out to me, that Denmark's in there. I think we've only got, it's not a massively covered league in the game. So that one seemed a bit odd. And then there's an absolute heap in contenders. So now I'll stop talking and ask you what changes you would have made to the 3 categories.
Well, I find it interesting that they consider the English Championship to be a challenger league. When you think about the top league in like Argentina as a contender, I mean, I'll tell you right now, if River Plate were playing Rotherham, I think River Plate would probably win that game. I'm not sure what you think about that, but
well, Bristol City are wiping the floor for Estudiantes, mate, every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So
I think the Championship has been kept in, one, because they know probably a lot of people playing the game are English. And 2, I reckon there could be a full league coverage coming in. And
don't tease me with full Championship League coverage. Don't do it to me.
We've said it before. Like, they really need to cover the entire league. Like, they get so many more users of the game and more money involved, and that would be a reason why I could see them keeping England in the challenges there. I mean, effectively, the Championship got knocked down a peg or two, didn't it, when it went down to being in the second division comp, which sort of lost a lot of appeal because the prizes were a bit crap. And now it seems to be they've bumped up again. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, Denmark's certainly weird as well. Like you just said, it's not even one or 2 teams are covered? It's 2, like, no, they're all covered. I mean, they're actually cards are produced. It's Midtjylland and
I can't remember who the other one was that
got it. But is it Copenhagen? Is Copenhagen actually got cards produced, or they've just got a lot of cards there? But it's strange. I wonder if they've based it on actual ranking, like real life rankings of the European leagues. But maybe Denmark is quite a high league. I don't know.
Maybe they've got a Denmark license coming in soon.
Maybe.
I
noticed they listened to Andrew Laird and stuck SPL down the bottom.
Yeah, they're having none of that. SPFL in the bin. Yeah, MLS though. I'd go see MLS in tier 2. I guess contenders is crowded. You know, I presume that means there's more rewards down there. They've gone for, like, you know, top performing clubs in the top tier, you know, like real life, isn't it? You know, you'd expect your Bayern Munichs and stuff to be at the top. But it'll come on to this later on with the removal of All-Star as well. That part of, like, the game was just pulling players in from all around the world and putting them into this 5-man team and going, my 2 players from Spartak Moscow, my player from Croatia, my Hoffenheim player, and my La Liga 2 goalie. I'm going to take on your fucking Man City stack. Eat my piss because you've lost to Burnley this week. And, you know, that sort of feels like it's being taken away.
Well, I think we'll get onto it, won't we? But they've announced there's still going to be, you know, the odd all-star comp and the odd return of each comp individually, haven't they, for midweeks and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be a permanent removal. But yeah, I love it when all the leagues are going at the same time, right? And you've got, like, my all-star teams to be like Wacky Zaka from Kawasaki Frontale and fucking, like, Ryan Gould in the MLS and a bloody champion Europe defender and a goalkeeper from Korea. It's just like, it was great. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's be interesting to see how that works moving forward. I guess we won't know with a lot of these things until August comes around, really, will we? And see how it all looks. And
yeah, obviously another important part on here at the end is U23, which is confirmed to be back for next season. Obviously, that for some people, I think it was more important at the start, maybe because you could win Mbappe and the prices were so high, and those jackpot players felt like they were new 23. But it is like a fun little scouting part of the game, and it like that football manager aspect where you go, oh, he's a good young player that I know of from XXX. I'm going to pick him up, hold him, like he's going to come good. So I think it's good that they kept the U23 thing, even if it does maybe feel a bit weird tacked on to these other 3 leagues. And I'm not sure. I know they're carrying on the Premier League winter comp, whether La Liga, Bundesliga and Premier League are like a permanent fixture from August, like their own comps going forward. But it seems to say there's classic and in-season all the time there, which I really love the Premier League winter comp. And obviously it's back now. So yeah, that would be interesting as well. But I haven't confirmed whether like they're there permanently all the time. It seems to suggest that they've got classic and in-season. So that'd be interesting as well.
Yeah, it does kind of suggest. And like we discussed previously, I think those 3 leagues are definitely the main sort of leagues that Sorare have agreements with, isn't it? Because they don't cover the entirety of Italy in terms of produced cards for Roma and Juventus, etc. And they've had some problems with France, haven't they? Obviously with Paris Saint-Germain, which we may get onto later. But yeah, those three leagues are definitely the main three, I'd say.
Exactly. And I guess they've got the licenses and the big names and the big teams. So it feels sort of like they're pushing the big names and the big teams, the big players and the big cards again, and they? So that might be part of it. But let's move down. Let's skip the reward pools and things, because that'll all be fleshed out by clever people who put nice graphs on X over the coming weeks. Divisions, promotion and relegation. This is a big thing. I know you've banged on about it for a long time because you used to love those Sorare data leagues. You mentioned it when we were talking before we started recording. I've always wanted something like this as well. I love the competition. That's why I'm playing Rivals at the moment, because I want to be above you all in rankings. I just like anything that I can try and gain a little crumb of advantage over everyone. So this seems like a cool new thing to me. Obviously, going to start with 4 divisions. That can change. Like they said, with the tier list for the Challenger things we've just seen, that can change once a year as well. Before the season ends, they could restructure. So yeah, we're going with divisions, battling out on leaderboards, promotion, relegation, feel the full glory of a real team. Promotion and relegation every week. That feels very fluid to me every week. It
says every week, does it? Oh, right. Okay.
I did read someone. I've read so many comments on X today. I don't know what's true, what's not. People could be lying to me. But yeah, like Division 1 bottom 50% relegated.
It does say every game week there. It says every game it manages up promotion. I mean, I love this type of thing. And as you've mentioned, I've mentioned this before. I really enjoyed the Sorare data leagues where you could get promoted and relegated. They weren't so much an every week thing there. They were more like a every 6 weeks, 8 weeks type of thing, like the Super Caps are at the moment a little bit in terms of a league table. Obviously, no relegation or promotion in the Super Caps. But yeah, I think this is a really good part of the announcement. I think it'll get people a bit more hyped, get people trying a bit more to get promoted, get relegated. Obviously, it leads to better prizes the higher up you get up the leagues, but you obviously have better competition to go against because it'll be better teams. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I like it.
I like the fact that we have a little WhatsApp group of a load of mates that play it and stuff, and we're all going to start in the bottom division. Hell no, do I want to be below any of you lot for very long at all? Do you know what I mean? I don't want you off up in Division 2 going, oh, hey. Well, I'm, so I want to go up. I don't want to be below my friends. I anything like that competition. So I do think it's good from that aspect. How much you prioritize trying to get promoted and things like that remains to be seen. But I do think it's a cool idea. They build it in with the scarcity rules as well, that you can drop scarcities down. So you could use rare cards and limited. They won't get a bonus for scarcity bonus, but I guess that's trying to balance out the problems we might have with progression now, in that you're starting to try and build. You got a couple of rares, you could drop them down, and I think maybe trying to help make divisions accessible to everyone if we're all going to be in it, I guess. Yeah, really interesting though. One of the more intriguing aspects that I think we need to see in action.
Agreed.
So yeah, we sort of covered the scarcity rules there, that you can drop them down levels. But multi-entry is the next big thing on the list that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so 3 teams into the same competition. This is great for bigger galleries. Might encourage bigger galleries to stay big or get bigger, because they can enter more teams, more players, more cards. You want people to be able to buy more cards. This gives them a reason, right?
Yeah. I mean, my first thought, like yours there, is that it helps the bigger galleries, which, they've got to help those guys too. It's not probably as good for people with, a very small pool of cards to choose from every week. But yeah, I mean, to keep the top end investors happy is just as key as keeping the bottom end investors happy in terms of from Sorare's perspective, if not more, to be honest with you. If you think about how much money they're putting in. So yeah, I don't mind it so much. Obviously, it may affect how well we do a little bit, but I entered 3 teams every week in the Premier League Winter Limited Special, and did really well with them every week. So, I certainly benefited from them doing it for that. Yeah, what's your views on it?
Yeah, I mean, I used it in the Premier League Winter Comp because I really enjoyed that comp. I was doing well in it, so I wanted to enter more teams in it. So I enjoyed it in that. I do have like a load of shitty random limiteds that I can't sell. So this might give me an outlay to them, even though they're probably not going to win anything. I'm still entering more teams, which scratches that itch for me. So yeah, it was this is one of the confusing bits for me when I was reading through it to like digest that you can enter. So you can have 3 teams in any competition within each scarcity. So if you played Bundesliga, you'd have a team in Division 4, another in Division 1, another team in Division 4. They all progress and compete for rewards. Yeah, so I did have to read up on that one because it was a bit confusing, but they're all like independent teams. So yeah, that was a little confusing, but I do like the concept in terms of
it's difficult, isn't it? It's so difficult with a lot of these things because until it comes in, like we won't really know how it all integrates. Yeah, it's hard
because people will get annoyed the first time a big account probably comes first, second, and fourth, or something like that.
Yeah,
but I guess what they're also in for with these new tiers and divisions and promotion is that potentially the whales move up and out of the way of you in
over time, over like a couple of months of it sort of naturally reaches the tiers of where people should be in terms of their gallery, right? I think that's what's the plan is.
Yeah, so obviously I shouldn't be playing Pranksy or YNWA. They shouldn't be popping up in my Division 3 MLS match. Well, it won't be MLS, but Challenger or La Liga, because they're already fucked off into the top echelons.
Yeah,
competing for the big boy prizes, and I'm competing for what I'm at. So yeah, I think it's good. This is one of the things that I was unsold on. I couldn't decide whether I loved it or not. But yeah, we'll move on for it because I can't really think of much else to say about that one. But special weeklies. So it feels like they've just chucked everything they're getting rid of and said it might be a special weekly at some stage. They haven't really said how often or, we can expect to see them again. But essentially, they're just the midweek's going to be full of special weeklies with cap modes, new rules, events, cash prizes. There's going to be an MLS special one to go. I love special weeklies. I think they're cool. I would like to know if these old comps are going to be frequent or not in them. But
yeah, they can't get rid of these permanently, as in like they need to be on it with doing 1 or 2 special weeklies every week, in my opinion. I understand not doing every single one of them every week, which is what they do at the moment. But I really like the cap competitions. I think they're really good. They already got rid of the underdog, didn't they? And what was the other one?
Specialists.
They already got rid of those. Do the cap competitions. They're really good, aren't they? They're good fun. So I do hope they're really on it with keeping them as special weeklies.
Because if we think about what's gone, and what like All-Star, Global All-Star, he gone, Rare Pro, he gone, Kickoff, Commons, he gone.
Yeah.
What are the pro limits? The pro ones, the
special, like the League Pro ones, so like League Specialists, like the Serie A, Liga, all those. I mean, those ones were kind of recent anyway, but like the All-Star ones, the common, like they've been there since records began, pretty much, haven't they?
They're gone.
That's pretty major news.
Cap modes, they're gone.
They're gone. Everything gone. But hopefully this new stuff is going to be, the one.
Yeah, because you think about and one that personally affected me deeply, Legends. He gone.
Oh yeah, Legends affected me as well. I love Legends. I just won a tier 2 on Legends this weekend.
20 cards. I got 20 legends. I think about that. That is frustrating, and they're essentially dead. And they say all these competitions, and they've said it in all of them, they live on in special midweek weeklies. Unless you tell us how often they're actually going to be in the weeklies. Like if you do me one Legends challenge every 2 months, that's not living on, is it? The card's dead.
I actually don't get why they're getting rid of Legends. Like, what's the reasoning? Why not just have it on every week that 95% of the Legend teams are covered or something? Are playing.
I guess it doesn't fit. Where does it fit in their new? What they're going to have? Champion, Challenger, under 23 Legends, like divisions.
Well, they could just have a Legends division. Just have a Legends division.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough cards for it. I just don't think it fits in their system. I think they probably regret Legends, and they've been trying to just give it something to do, but it's had no focus really, has it? It hasn't had any new Legends cards for ages. It's something that they probably wish they could just get rid of, but they can't. I know it's just some random special weekly. A lot of these, you need to know how often these weeklies going to be for them to be any of use.
Well, at least I didn't spend like £700 on it. You can see it's rare legend card or anything.
We should do a shit buys episode soon, so we can go through these. I guess what I took from it is that has this really hurt progression through scarcities when you're getting rid of rare pro. So you used to go, I've got rares, I'll start buying a super rare, maybe 2, maybe 3. I'll put them in here. Maybe then I'll aim for eventually a Cap 240 team. If I haven't got a goalie, I'll use it in Cap 220, blah, 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 blah. But now that I really want a single unique recently, I've been banging on about it. I want a single unique to be, so I get a kick-off unique. I was like, I've got loads of super rares. I'll just get one so I can play. That's what I want. But I can't do that now because kickoff's gone. So do I need 5 uniques to ever go up and them all to play? There's no bridge, is there? If you're going up into super rare without the rare pro equivalent, what is the bridge to go up to break into unique now? I know they say you can drop them down 1 level, so I could buy a unique and then I could use it in super rare.
What's the point? Might as well get a super rare. Yeah.
Get a good super rare, unless I think at some point I'm going to buy 8 uniques.
Which you won't.
I think unless I'm missing something, it feels like a real dampener on progression. Why would I bother unless I, win a 9-fold Acker at Cheltenham?
Could happen. What's weird is that they've been banging on about progression, haven't they, for a couple of years? So yeah, that is a weird decision. I wonder if there's something we're missing in the announcement where there is somewhere you can put a unique with a singular unique somewhere. I don't know. Are we missing something, or maybe there's something else in the pipeline that they haven't announced yet that will be announced on one of their announcement windows in the year?
They literally said crystal clear progression is one of their main points now. Create gameplay where managers know their next move, where they can climb tiers, and now divisions. So they are focusing on progression. It just seems not in the way we were thinking. I mean, again, this whole I mentioned this earlier, but this without All-Star and the rare pros and everything and the commons all being dead, it does feel like that picking 5 players from everywhere to form a team is sort of gone, isn't it? So yeah.
Well, my advice to you would be don't buy unique and focus on super rare Cap 240 or 2 whatever it's going to be now. Trying to get that ETH in with your good super rares.
Yeah, because I mean, I said it 4 times already, but I just do miss that completely random fact. Now they smoked regions of just creating 5 random teams. But obviously, the one we haven't talked about, cat modes, they gone. Again, in this mythical special weekly in mid-game weeks, at some stage, they'll be back, I presume, without threshold, because that would be pretty stupid. They said, cat modes makes the star cards star again, wouldn't it? Was a big thing they said. And cat modes, obviously, you bought loads of shitters and small L15 players to fit in, right?
Yeah.
So now you won't need those for cat modes. So what's the fucking point of tier 3s to 5s? What's the fucking point? There's no these competitions don't have restrictions, right? Apart from season.
Well, I
What
guess
do I want with shit cards?
I
What
guess
do I want a tier 5 for?
I guess the point is that, and you've said this about 10 minutes ago, is it's really key to know what their fixture list is for special weeklies, because if it's going to be cap 220, like one of the cap competitions will be going to be on every week, whether it's 220, 240, 270 or whatever, and it's just going to be like a permanent recycling of caps every week, then those will be crucial. But if it's just going to be like one weekly every month, and then yeah, that would be an issue, because the lower echelon cards are going to lose. I mean, they don't have much value as it is, but they're going to lose value like shit out of a brick.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't read anything about collection bonuses either, and it's the collection side of it, how that's going to be. I'm not really sure how it's going to tie in with rivals. Didn't seem to be any focus on tying it in with rivals at all, did there? There was no mention of rivals anyway.
Two separate games, isn't it? Two completely separate things.
Yeah, but again, I thought it was meant to be like lead you into the main game. I thought all the changes would somehow, like streamline the process, but I didn't hear anything from that. But as we moved from talking about cap modes, I guess we should talk about thresholds.
Do you want to put it up on screen?
The second one.
Have you got the announcement up?
Yeah, what, the second tab?
Yeah.
Second mythical. Here we go.
I thought you were reading off the screen. Didn't realize didn't have it up on the screen.
No, this is the transition roadmap. So obviously most of the changes we talked about are going to launch in full in August with the new gameplay launch. But there's some changes to lead us up to that. So Premier League in-season competition starts right away from this game week. What say you about that?
Love it. I think we discussed it on last week's show, didn't we? Why don't they just keep doing it? I mean, the winter comp, I think, was quite a success. Seemed to get a lot of people hyped, and people buying a lot of cards. The value of the cards went up, so why not just keep it? So yeah, I'm excited for that. And you can use my Everton stack, so it works for me.
Do you know what annoyed me actually? Today there was a Mikolenko, a Tark rares, and there was a super rare. There was like 4 decent Everton cards that I'd earmarked to get in, and they ended about 4 hours after the announcement. Like they started straight after the announcement, and everyone was hot on Premier League cards when because that was usually there's something you go and buy after a big announcement, right? Yeah. They go like MLS is coming, or here comes this. So the only real thing like we had immediately was Premier League's continuing, and you need 4 new season cards, right? So
yeah,
obviously they shot off, and they shot off from any of the bots that had them as well. I did manage to get an Ethan Pinnock rare. I swapped the second division card and got an Ethan Pinnock rare for a decent price, I think. New season, just because you need that extra new season card now. I think it's good. I'm glad it's here. Obviously, it's going to be a permanent fixture now as well. Permanent competition, permanent Bundesliga one, permanent La Liga. So, the big leagues, we need the big cards. So I'm happy about that. Hopefully, carry on a nice.
I mean, it suits both of us, isn't it? I mean, we've got pretty decent galleries towards those because of the Premier League winter comp that we.
Yeah.
So it will suit a lot of people, and it sort of stops the prices falling out of their ass for those cards now the winter comp has ended.
Yeah. But the main thing is this transition period, right? That's going on from this month until August when the whole thing kicks off. And the start of it is the changing of the threshold. Changing of the threshold.
Yeah, got rumoured, didn't it? And it's come to fruition.
It got rumoured, but they never really spoke about getting rid of it at all, would they? And now it's going. If you're a new player now, you don't get access to this new competition, right? And that's it. Sign up now. You don't get any threshold until August. It's done for you. So I think they're like keeping us happy by letting us have access to it till August, which is, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that they've said that about new users, but I guess they're just really, rather than like detracting from New Year's, they're trying to really reward the old faithfuls, I guess.
I think it's stopping us rioting, not rewarding us.
Yeah.
But it's changed, right? It's the beat the game format now. You can see it on screen. There's 3 targets per threshold where you pick pre-game and you have to hit it to get the reward. So if you pick the top one, you hit the second one, you get fuck all. So we used to have it.
I don't think I'm ever going to have the balls to go for those 2 high up options there for limited and rare. It's a tough one unless you literally put a team in and think that's an absolute fucking banker. It's yeah.
I mean, I get why they're getting rid of threshold. A lot of people have started to like realize, what was it, 70% of the money they outlaid, I think they said, was through 240 each game week. I guess you don't just want people farming a game and like, I'm here for the thresholds and to withdraw my money. You want to increase engagement, make the game fun. So for long-term sustainability, you need that money to put into better jackpot prices or rewards or things like that, and not just people farming it. But there's always going to be loads of people pissed off about it.
I mean, what does that change for you in your super rare cap there? Because the cap had gone up for super rare for you anyway, hadn't it? Was it 320 it had gone up to as the minimum? Yeah. So it's now saying, was it 320 or was it 340?
Maybe it's higher. I can't remember because I haven't played it for a while because my goalies have been fucked. So I've been just focusing on.
I think it was higher. I think it was slightly higher. So like 340, 350 maybe. So now you have to get 40 points higher than what you were previously getting to win $200 to win $60. But I guess there's power percentage bonus now, isn't there? But
yeah, I mean it might look fancy when you read the top line, but I think they'll be giving out less money between now and August, right? I think that's clear.
Yeah,
a lot of people are going to pick 270 and then probably get like 360 some weeks and get pissed off. So I don't know. I'd be really pissed off if I picked the bottom one and I got 405 points.
How many people do they honestly expect are going to pick those top tiers for all 4 of those? That's incredibly risky. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me being a bit frugal, bit of a fridge. But I mean, I'm never going to go for that top one in rare. I mean, how often do you hit 390? Like,
yeah, how pissed off would you be if you went 390 and you got 388?
Yeah, well, now it'd be I'll probably go for, if I had a really good team, I'll probably go for that 340. If I liked my fixtures a lot, and then if I had a semi-decent team, I'll probably go for the 270 there.
I think I picked the bottom one, and it's not a bigger priority for me.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, that's also another option. And then you'd be pretty sure of just banking sort of $15, $20 every week then, wouldn't you?
I've been pretty shit hitting them anyway. So, sod it. A lot of loot boxes back as well is what I take from all these graphs. Did you like the introduction of loot boxes?
Well, I love the loot boxes. I just wish I could win a few more. I keep getting to freaking 4 rivals wins in a row. 4 rivals wins in a row and losing the 5th one. It's pissing me right off. But I think they're good. And it sort of feels like a bit more of like a pack opening or something, doesn't it? Than just buying cards and winning cards. So I kind of like it.
Yeah. So the other thing that comes out of this is the March transition. We'll see the new competition splits and the tiers and things will be coming into existing managers. So yeah, they're easing us in. I think just trying to keep us all happy with making it look like we can win loads of money, but actually we won't win loads of money before August.
Yeah.
They didn't want to just pull the rug out from underneath us and piss everyone else off. But I don't know why they didn't just leave it as it was to August. I don't know if it was a money thing where they're like, we need to save that money for the new format in August. I don't know why they couldn't have just left it as it was.
I guess it's the ease people over, isn't it? Rather than just like flat ending it in August, like it's sort of easing it over to what it will be like in August moving forward. I don't know.
Seems like there'd be a lot more of the DMP style players fluffing out these loot boxes in the bottom reward sections as well. But I didn't mind at this point of So Rare's life winning just cash from the tournaments as well. That like from the Wintercom, that was fine with me. And it says here like what to expect. Our MLS and Asia special weeklies feature cash prizes of up to 100 grand in their prize pools. I like like just the money coming in, and I can spend it on what I want, or I can withdraw it, and it feels cool to be like 220 quid I won this week rather than loot box or card, which is falling in value. So yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the transition, but I do like the fact that we've got time to like change our strategies and things like that.
I mean, it's good that they've announced. Let's put this in context. Like, they've announced this 5-6 months ahead of when it's going to happen, and I think that is good from them. They clearly needed to make changes. If they're spending 70% of their prizes on Cap 240 every week, that is not sustainable for them. Because people were just doing that, like you said, farming it and not reinvesting it, and ultimately that leads to the death of Sorare probably. So, you know, it makes sense. And they've given us 6 months of leeway to, like you say, change the strategy.
I think that, like you said, I think that's about the right amount of time, really, because you don't need too long and you don't want a really short time. So I think that's about right. And, you know, they do say all the rewards are going back into the new competitions. So you won't be losing out on anything. Everything will be in special weeklies occasionally. We'll take a new life form. Challenges tailored to tier 5 and tier 3 players for collection events, which I think is like a real necessity, like as a constant, something to do with the shit cards. Otherwise, they're literally just going to be filling up albums and there'll be nothing else to do with them. So,
yeah,
like as we've talked more and more through this and I've read other things, the thing I'd really have like taken from it is what you said. We need to know the schedule of special weeklies and how often we can expect these things. You know, that's really important.
They're vital. They're absolutely vital.
Yeah, in giving value to, giving value to some of our cards. And and here's all the competitions that are gone. RIP, Global All-Star, Legends, man. Not my Legends, my beautiful Legends cards. Some of them are the nicest looking cards on the platform.
I love them. And I really like the fact that the way the Legends score points. I think that it's such good fun, the way that you're sort of just cheering for the entire Juventus midfield or the entire fucking Bayern Munich centre-back defence. Do you know what I mean? I think it's really good. And it annoys me how this isn't going to be a regular thing now, because I do think it's a really fun competition. But like I said, if it doesn't quite fit into how they wanted to do it, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. Jersey special coming soon. But there was a few more things mentioned that I thought were worth bringing up. K-League, they confirmed that they've new partner, knows what they're doing, can add up and can submit scores on time. So K-League will have full coverage going forward. J-Ling's God Mode season incoming.
No, it's that's really good news, actually. You know, I don't have a lot of K-League cards, so it doesn't really affect me, but I like to see stuff they used to do continuing to be done for people that have built massive galleries. Like, imagine if they just randomly went, "Oh, we're not going to be covering the Premier League for a bit because the Opta's fucked it up." It's like that would just stitch us over completely. So I feel for a lot of the K-League gallery collecting, managers. But now this is good news. And K-League and J-League are what Sorare was formed on. Do you know what I mean? They're like OGs, MLS, Belgium.
Like if they ever said we're getting rid of Jupiler.
Yeah, it's like part of my initial first sort of few months of Sorare. We're like getting up at 7 a.m. and being like, "Oh, what's happened in the J-League? K-League's gone mental. What's happened?" Like, it's part of Sorare. It's what makes it great. So I'm glad that they're covering it again. And I kind of wish I'd picked up some of the K-League bargains, because I was thinking at the time, like, surely they'll sort coverage out for this at some point. And the prices of some of their cards were insanely cheap for what they were scoring. But obviously that will have changed now. I haven't even looked, but I'm sure it will have changed.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool. K-League is one of the originals. I do have a few cards. I haven't really invested in it because of all the problems they had, but I do think it's cool that it's staying on. Chazinia, I've got Chazinia, J-Lings. I think it's good that we don't have that uncertainty going into the new season about it. Yeah, it's one of the OGs. It's not something like it's in the bottom tier now, isn't it?
Just need to cover Saudi League now, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, obviously they said. I said obviously a lot tonight. It must be my word of the evening. obviously.
Everything's just so obvious, mate. That's the thing.
Obvious. Literally everything in this whole statement is not obvious at all. It's been a lot of head scratching today. But they said there's a returning giant, right? A long-awaited huge club will make its return to Sorare in the coming days.
I wonder who it'll be.
I mean, obviously we think it's PSG. Everyone on X thinks it's PSG. Is there anyone else it could be?
I mean, the only one I mentioned to you was potentially Juventus and Roma, just because they did do their cards a couple of years ago, didn't they? But I feel like they wouldn't necessarily make an announcement about that. I feel like they'd only make an announcement if it was PSG, because it's such a big thing how they don't have the best team with the biggest player in the world in the country that they are from, is in Sorare from France. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be PSG. I mean, who else could it be? It's not going to be any of England. The only thing I can think of is Italy or France.
It must be Italy or there's Italian clubs they haven't got. Huge club.
Is it Russia, do you reckon? The return of Spartak Moscow.
Because Bristol City, there won't be a return, would it?
It wouldn't be a return, would it? It'd just be...
I don't. It has to be PSG, right? I just can't think of another team. I know lots of teams drop on and off the licensing list.
Do you know what it is? They've probably had it for a while and thought, right, we'll save this for this big announcement. And the first unique that will come on the auction will be Mbappe.
That's not very Sorare, is it, to not be raking in those Mbappe limited sales for this whole time?
True, but maybe it'll be like, I don't know. It'll just be part of this announcement. It'll be like, Mbappe's coming in. Here he is.
Maybe they had, because they got Benfica and Porto, it's going to be Sporting Lisbon going to come in and clothesline them both out the door. And the return of Sporting.
Yeah, maybe.
It's got to be PSG, right? Interesting anyway. And the other thing, which I thought was really cool, because this is something I've been like trying to build to for the last couple of weeks, is they said that the Euros was be covered, and the Summer Games, which I guess is the Olympics, and American tournaments. I don't know what the American tournaments are, but
they do a load of random bloody American tournaments, don't they? But does it say Summer Games rather than Summer Olympics, is it?
I'm pretty sure it says Summer Games. I can't remember where exactly. Oh, here it is. In addition to our coverage, we can also confirm for the men's main football competition over the next 6 months, including the Summer Games in Paris, so the Olympics, European tournament in Germany, and the International Americas tournament in the UK, in the US.
Okay. So it says Summer Games in Paris, so it is the Olympics. Fine.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a random one, isn't it? Because like, who actually goes to the Olympics for like the countries? It's a weird one, and especially as they didn't cover the Asian Cup, which is like such a massive competition. It just does seem a little bit odd. But
does the Summer Games, somewhat the Olympics runs during the season, if I remember rightly.
Right. So I see.
So, but I know like the Euros is a really important one for us because we'll all be like so hyped on watching it. We're going, and the main leagues are all shut down while it's on. So like that utility for your big cards. So I think that's a really important one, and that was the one that I really hope. I know they say they've got coverage, but I really hope there's a proper like tournament or fun thing for it.
Just had a thought. Is it Copa America this year as well?
Maybe.
Yeah, it is, 2024. So did it mention that there?
It doesn't, does it? It just says international tournaments in America. International Americas tournaments.
Okay, so that'll be Copa America then. So it's going to be in June this year, June to July. So that'll be the same time as the Euros. It'll be on the exact same time.
Oh wow! Big Italy.
Are they usually the same time, like the exact same months? That seems a little bit odd. Anyway, that's very exciting because there's going to be, obviously a few Sorare cards there as well. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hype around Sorare this summer coming up with the Euros, and like you said, we'll be there. So
hype trains. Yeah, give me a proper Euros tournaments, some specials.
Yeah,
like an in-season tournament, something cool and fun that I can get my chops stuck into with individual Euro rewards. Yeah, but that's a strong 50 minutes. So Anything else you want to say? Any closing statement on the update? Anything you want to get out into the Sorare world to finish off on?
I mean, not particularly. I mean, overall, I think it's a very positive announcement, and I'm excited to see how it will come into fruition in August. Watch the space, I guess. Some people won't be happy. Some people will be happy. I'm happy as long as Everton get their 10 points back.
On a scale of 0 to 10, 5 being neutral, 10 being ecstatic with it, and 0 being I've sold up. I'm going to only play Ultimate Champions anymore, and I'm going to send hate mail to Nicolas Julia for the rest of my life. Where do you stand on the scale?
I'd say it's a solid 7, I reckon. I don't like that they're getting rid of the weekly stuff. But as long as they keep doing them, I don't like they get rid of the normal stuff, but as long as they keep doing them as weeklies, then, keep me sustained. So yeah, I'll go for a 7 out of 10. Solid
7. That's what you tell yourself when you look in the mirror in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get that high, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it is. However much I say it's all. I'm not in it for financial gains. I'm in it for fun. Blah blah blah. Winning thresholds was fun each week. It was nice to just rake in that money, but it wasn't it doesn't feel that sustainable. It didn't feel like you're really playing the game for fun or enjoyment. You're just trying to
I found it quite easy. Yeah, the only time
very good at it recently, but I mean over the years I've obviously won a lot from it.
But the only times I would find that I didn't win 240 cap 240 rare ETH would be if I had a DMP or like an absolute shitter of a score, like a 15 or something. It's very, I used to think it was quite easy to obtain. So
yeah, I play the game because it's fun and I enjoy it, and I think this new model, from what I've seen so far, and there's still a lot to understand about it, especially the special weekly stuff, but I does think it looks like a more fun game. So I think I should enjoy it more. I prefer fun over the financial gains, although financial gains are still really nice. I want to make money if I can while enjoying it, but this does look fun. So I would go for. You fucked me off by taking Legends away, so rare, but I'm going to go for 7.6 out of 10.
Just got to go back.
Might be a bit high actually. 6.9. No, I'm going below you. I think because there's too much that I would need clarifying before I can go. But I think that's pretty good from us. We will continue to digest. We might have our normal segments tomorrow in a slightly shorter show, but if not, we will definitely have a reward show up on Friday because someone is currently top of cap 220 super cap blah 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 blah, and I'm reasonably high enough that I will have a couple of rewards as well. So we might do a little prize opening show,
a little cheeky one, yeah,
where you can go into your successes then. But I think it's about time we called it quits because Bristol City are about to go to a penalty shootout against Nottingham Forest for the opportunity to play Manchester United at home in the FA Cup.
Oh, quick! Let's get that on
to go and focus on that. So thank you very much for your input, Dornado, and we will be back on your screens later in the week. But for now, thanks for joining us. If you could drop a like or a subscribe on the way out, that'd be much appreciated and make us feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And we're out for now. Viva la Thursday Club.
Up the toffees.